between the visiting Pirates and your Miami Marlins. And fans at home, you are in for a treat. I'm Kelly Sacco with you here at the Demo Den. Tonight, you're to see one of the best matchups across Major League Baseball. It's Paul Skeens opposite Eury Perez. And Eury, like so many Marlins, benefiting from an expanded arsenal. Back in May, he added an additional fastball, the sinker. It's got that same high velocity as a four-seam fastball, but completely opposite movement profile. Let's see first that four-seam fastball, which has been one of the best across Major League Baseball since Eury came up. The four-seam, it's got that straight rising action. He gets a ton of swing and miss on that pitch, but the addition of the sinker gives hitters something else to think about. Like I mentioned, it's that same high velocity, but it has arm side run. Moving in on the hands of righties and away from lefties. I asked Daniel Moscas, why the sinker? And he said, with a high strikeout guy like Eury, they were seeing those at-bats going long, the pitch counts going up. They felt the introduction of that sinker would help him go deeper into games. You could see his arsenal from 2025 on the left. Four-seam fastball used over 50% of the time. Here in 2026, you see it on the right, the four-seam usage has gone down as he has introduced the sinker. But let's dive in a little bit deeper. It was in May when he introduced the pitch. So before May 12th, four-seam used over 50% of the time. Since May 12th, 26% of the time you're seeing that sinker. And over his last 4 starts, Eury Perez has used that sinker more than any other pitch. We'll keep it right here on Marlins.tv when we return. Skeens, Perez, high velocity coming at you next. Game 1 of this 3-game set. First pitch is next.
Marlins Baseball is presented by Warner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia, the official law firm of the Miami Marlins. By FPL and by U-Health, pushing medicine forward. As Eury Perez gets set for his career-high 21st start this year, let's give you the Pirate opposing lineup. It is presented by FPL. Notable omissions due to the injury bug. No Oneil Cruz, he's on rehab. No rookie standout Connor Griffin. No Ryan O'Hearn as of late. Still very dangerous, Nelly.
It is. They desperately need Oneil Cruz. They're 24-32 without him. I think they may see him either tomorrow or Wednesday. If I'm the Pirates, hey, you can have one rehab, but you're back in the big leagues.
First pitch is in for a called strike, and we are underway. 97. We're going to see a lot of that tonight. These are two of the harder throwers in Major League Baseball. Eury Perez, top 5 in all of baseball in terms of average fastball velocity from a starter. Paul Skeens also inside the top 20. One missed upstairs. But this Pirate lineup, they are third in runs scored. You know, they put runs on the board. They collect their hits. They hit the ball to the ballpark. They also walk.
And they also strike out. Well, hey, they have a lot of swing and miss when you're facing a pitcher like Perez. They're tops in baseball and swing and miss.
First sweeper shown to Jake Mangum, the SEC all-time leader in base hits. Mangum has kind of been newfound riches for Pittsburgh this year. He is the table setter for them while Connor Griffin works his way back from that torn ligament in his finger. They're looking like an early to mid-September return for a guy that was pacing to be a possible Rookie of the Year candidate in the National League, but Mangum has filled in that leadoff spot perfectly. And Eury misses up and away at 98. Oh, you heard Kelly Sacco talk about that sinker and the usage there. He's still got the four-seam fastball, and that four-seam fastball is still one of the best pitches in Major League Baseball for a guy that is a young 23 years old.
Yeah, and I've always been a proponent of having a pitch go both ways. You know, you need something that moves away to righties, away to lefties, and that two-seam fastball does a great job of moving away to a lefty. It sets up and it complements the changeup, especially the grip of his his circle change is a two-seam changeup. And then on righties, run that two-seamer in at 98.
And he gets himself a punch out. 98 on the bottom rail. Goes to the four-seam early.
I don't know what you're looking for here. I mean, this is heat right down the middle of the plate. I mean, I don't know if you're looking for a walk. Here's that two-seam fastball. Had really good movement. You saw Mackey setting up on the outside part of the plate, and that was right down the pike.
Yuri starts his evening off with a punch out again. Career start. Or a season start number 21 in his career. That is a career high. Made 20 starts a year ago. He made 19 in his rookie campaign in 2023. Now the difficulty in terms of power starts to up a little bit. Brandon Lau, who is having a resurgent year for Pittsburgh. And he got himself a first pitch sweeper.
Well, what's been happening with Perez over the last 10 starts, I've really been impressed by his mechanics. He doesn't really violently spin off, and I've said it a number of times, to first base. When he struggles with the command in the zone is when he really spins off to the first base side. He still spins off, but it's not as violent, and it's nice and smooth out over the mound, which you absolutely love. He breaks his hands at the right time. He lifts that leg, and that's when you're supposed to break him. When it hits the peak, he stays back. The ball is down. The two-seam fastball is a really good pitch for him. Against a lefty, you don't want everything coming in.
He starts his day with back-to-back punch-outs. First the fastball, now the slider. Yuri has K'd the front two he's seen. Hasn't used the defense just yet.
Yeah, well, let's look at that defense for the Marlins, sponsored by Doral Kia. You have Hernandez, Marcy, Ruiz out there in right, Sanoja, Lopez, Edwards, and Conine, Griffin Conine over there, making his second career start, his third appearance over at first. All of them have been this year. And a Mack, Joe Mack behind the plate.
What a sample it's been for Griff over at first base. It's his second career start. Now, of course, Griffin Conine thrusted into action because Kyle Stowers earlier today placed on the 10-day injured list. He's dealing with a grade 1 strain in his left hamstring. It's good to see Stowers smiling. Clayton McCullough told the media earlier today that Stowers showed up to the ballpark feeling a little bit better than maybe they would have anticipated. But Stowers looking like a 3 to 4 week absence, it seems. Corresponding move, of course, Graham Pauley getting recalled from AAA Jacksonville. But this likely thrusts Griffin Conine into more first base reps, and maybe some Agustin Ramirez over at first base as well.
Well, with Conine, I mean, he's such a great athlete. I mean, the bloodlines with his dad, you know, obviously he knows the position. It is a tough position. There's a lot of things that go on over at first base, not just getting over there covering the bag. You got to pick, you got to know where your second baseman is and how much ground you cover when you go to that right side. And as a first baseman, to me, especially when the ball gets hit to you, you want to try to eliminate as much as you can the pitcher covering, and you want to try to bust your butt over there to take it yourself. And you want to eliminate the pitcher as much as you can. But he's an athlete. I'm sure he's learning. I was out there watching him today during batting practice, taking a lot of reps. I saw him with some pickoff moves, just getting the idea, everybody's pickoff move, know when to stay, you know, when to break off and become a fielder.
2-2 to Brian Reynolds. This is low. Count runs full on a guy having a resurgent year. Reynolds, a guy that played the corner outfield. The Pirates were thinking a couple of years ago about trying him over at first base. It's a tough task, and obviously Moneyball comes to mind, the Ron Washington. It's incredibly hard. They're sitting in the living room, but at the end of the day, Griffin Conine is someone that the Marlins feel like can handle really any task they throw his way. Conine, he's got 6 whopping innings over there.
You know, it seems when guys have injuries, where's the first place they want to put him? It is first base.
Sure.
You know, especially any outfielder, you say, okay, hey, we want to try to eliminate the leg injuries. Let's get him over to first base, and that way, because we need him in the lineup. I mean, look at Kyle Stowers. Hey, let's get him out of the outfield, put him in a position that he might fare better.
How about a slider bearing in on Reynolds? Yuri Perez strikes out the side in order in the top of the first, but we've got an ace-off, and it takes 2 to tango. Paul Skeens on the hill next.
Let's go places.
Marlins TV is presented by Werner, Huffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Paul Skeens, one of the best arms in Major League Baseball. Bit of a downturn. He will take on a Marlin lineup that is Son, Stowers. Again, Stowers just hit the shelf with a hamstring issue, but the beat rolls on, and Otto Lopez really had himself a bounce-back weekend against the Angels.
Yeah, hitting .318 now. He leads the National League, a couple points higher than Luis Arraez now with the Phillies. You hope the success they had against the Angels. Now the Angels have the worst record in baseball. You're supposed to beat up on them, but offensively you hope that carries over into this Pirate series. Almost sometimes it's a shame you have that day off. You just want, hey, let's keep going.
Like a three-point shooter in basketball, you just got to see one go through, and then the next one falls easier. Next with a line shot into center. Mangum working underneath, just shy of the track. Well, let's scout Mr. Paul Skeens, #1 overall pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2023 at LSU, fresh off a national title.
Yeah, look at the velo. The velo's down this year. Last year he was averaging over 98 miles an hour. This year about 96 to 97. Road struggles has been given him. Everything's going to get compared to last year. He had a 2.15 ERA on the road, while this year so far 4.6. And he's human. You know, last year it was just incredible. And we're talking, I mean, this kid's 24 years old. He was a Cy Young Award winner at 23. You know, and yes, he set the bar so high because he is so good. So when things start going backwards a little bit for him, everybody starts saying, oh, what's wrong? You know, everybody's saying, hey, he's gained a little weight. Like we talk about, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. When the off speed is getting hit a little bit harder than last year, and all of a sudden you gain some weight, to me, maybe the mechanics are a little off. Maybe he's not getting on top of that split, getting on top of that breaking ball like he did last year. Some pitchers can pitch at a certain weight. You know, I know guys that can't pitch skinny, you know, when I played. I mean, you look at CC Sabathia, Hall of Famer. There's no way. I mean, he was about 300, and that was probably generous. And he's 6'8". Couldn't pitch skinny. You know, David Wells, he was my teammate for a long time. You couldn't tell him, hey, you need to take about 40, 50 pounds off, because he probably could. Yeah. But he wouldn't be able to pitch that way.
And there's this prevailing theory in baseball right now, especially in 2026. And you know, I think the laws of physics say, what, force equals mass times acceleration, but it's really shortened and more conversational to say mass equals gas. And you see a lot of the best arms in Major League Baseball putting on weight. 1-2 to Otto Lopez, a bouncer foul, third base side. Paul Skeens, yeah, it's not like he put on 30 pounds. This guy was listed at 247 when he was at LSU in his draft year in 2023. He's listed at 260 now. But you see Tarek Skubal, won back-to-back Cy Young Awards in the American League. He's put on a ton of weight over the last 3-4 years. Sprayed foul again. Otto sticking around. Garrett Crochet in Boston. He put on some weight. Even the Marlins guys, Yuri Perez put on about 20 pounds this offseason. Max Meyer, we talked about the venison diet that he was on in Minnesota. He put on about 20 pounds. It's not uncommon to see guys bulk up.
And it's some guys, I mean, you just mentioned two of them in Max Meyer and Yuri. I mean, they needed it. And a lot of that is going deeper into the ball game. I mean, when you are a $150 soaking wet, like maybe a Yuri at 6'8", you need weight to try to carry you through the game, to be able to carry that fastball, that consistent fastball, deeper into the ballgame. Not just say, hey, 4 or 5 innings, all of a sudden you're dropping 4 or 5 miles an hour, and your legs. So if your legs go, then your arm goes. Your legs as a pitcher is your most important asset, because you know, you look at Paul Skeens. I mean, he's got tree trunks as legs, and he could probably last, in that 98 will carry you throughout the game. Some guys that have skinny legs, I mean, they're going to fall off a little bit, and then all of a sudden that arm, that elbow starts dropping. The pitches start flattening out a little bit.
Chopper to short. Jacob Gonzalez cannot handle. Otto Lopez finds his way aboard, and in a pitcher's duel, at least forecasted, base runners going to be at a premium, and the Marlins have the first one.
You wonder how they're going to score this. I mean, with Gonzalez over there at shortstop, he tried to backhand it. And to me, he's got to come up with this play. He tried to get that short hop, and it hit off the glove, and then you're not getting Lopez. There you see it hits off the heel, the glove. They're going to wind up giving that a base hit. That's probably a play that should be made, but hey, you're home.
Now, Otto continues to pump the average up a little bit, and Conine hammers one. Straight away center. Mangum back at the track, and he's got just enough room. Lopez back to first. Griffin Conine went to the deepest part of the yard.
Well, let's look at the defense real quick with the Pirates, because that was a shot sponsored by Doral Kia. You have Reynolds and Mangum out there. He's caught 2 already. Valdez in right. You have Gonzalez and Gonzalez, the law firm, over there on the left side of the infield. Lau over at second, Horwitz at first, and Davis behind the plate catching Skeens. Hey, Griffin Conine trying to cheat on the first pitch. Almost had one.
400 feet to straightaway center. Left his bat at 105 miles an hour. Now Skeens has 2 gone. Now he sees Heriberto Hernandez, who homered against Skeens when the Marlins went to Pittsburgh in June. Now, real quick, here's that catch out in center. Mangum had to use all the real estate this yard allows.
If you're Paul Skeens, you're holding your breath because anything hit that deep, you're like, uh-oh, we're down 2-0.
The wrong part of the ballpark. 1-0 to Bert. Now, Heriberto Hernandez playing in game number 89 this year. So well documented what he's done after he came back from AAA Jacksonville. That reset is probably the best example, at least on this Marlins team, of a guy going to get his swing right and then riding that heater for a couple of months. Other examples around the league this year, but Bert just a great example in the Marlins' backyard. Now, Paul Skeens, he goes to that splitter, he goes to that changeup on top of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that sat 98 last year. He's got so many different tools in the toolbox, and that's frankly what the Marlins are pursuing with guys like Yuri and guys like Max and guys like Sandy. The more weapons you have, the better off you are.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you saw Griffin Conine. He's going to cheat on that first pitch fastball.
96 up top. Paul Skeens works through a scoreless first. Well, here's the current odd on today's Hard Rock Bet. The hits will certainly be at a premium. 13.5 total hits is the line. -115 on the over, -125 on the under. Now, Yuri Perez back out there for the second after he struck out the side in order. Takes on Horwitz, Gonzalez, and Simon here in the top of the second.
On pace for 27 strikeouts. That would be a record.
That's solid.
Yeah, not bad.
Record by 7. Nobody gets to the magic 21, huh?
You think that'll ever happen? I don't think it'll ever happen.
Kerry Wood was probably the one that looked the most dominant.
What, do you have 19?
He had 20.
He had 20.
Yeah, Kerry Wood
tied
had
Clemens.
20. Clemens had 20. Scherzer had 20, I think. It's hard to believe because, I mean, we're talking about 7 innings worth of punch outs. That's 6 balls in play that are outs.
I don't think you can do that with the way the pitch count is now and how teams look so closely at that 100 mark. I don't think you'll ever see, because you're going to take a lot more than 100 pitches, I think, to strike out 20 guys.
On a bouncer over to first. First shot for Griffin Conine. He aced it. Yuri Perez, Nelly hit on it, and Kelly hit on the way that the 4-seam and the 2-seam fastball, now the sinker, kind of work off of each other. But Nelly, you mentioned the need to have pitches working in 2 different directions. 4-seam and slider pretty much embody that.
Yeah, 4-seam's going to stay straighter, so it's going to stay straighter longer in the zone, and everything comes out of the same arm slot. Some people will call it tunneling, but it's actually coming out of the same arm slot. That means tunneling. You know, you don't want a pitcher to start changing arm angles with different pitches because then a hitter can easily pick that up. And with a slider, you get a little bit tighter break, so it's a little bit tougher to pick up than a sweeper. The sweeper, you'll probably can pick up the spin a little bit easier, the slider a little bit less. That little circle or that little dot on the ball is a little smaller. And when you're throwing a 2-seam fastball, you look at the 4-seamer stays straight, the 2-seamer is going to break down and away. And when you're throwing at 98, 99 miles an hour, good luck trying to pick up that.
Gonzalez with a little side spinner down the first base line. No problem for Griffin Conine. He's 2 for 2. Hey, score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Marlins, the official source for your Miami Marlins gear. And now a bit of a return for Ronnie Simon. Now, Ronnie played 19 games with the Marlins last year. Pirates picked him up after he was designated for assignment in the front half of the year a season ago. Now, Ronnie Simon in Indianapolis this year played just under 100 games, hit .330. He's been a hit collector in AAA, and with some injuries, he's the guy that got the call-up.
Mr. Do-It-All, Ronnie Simon, switch hitter, can play the infield, can play the outfield. He's DHing for Pittsburgh right now. Well, the interesting deal was Ronnie Simon was the corresponding move when Marcell Ozuna got designated for assignment. Ozuna, the former Marlin, you see the former Brave as well. He was just having a brutal year.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Jorge Soler has not been picked up. At least I haven't seen, and even Ozuna.
Now Yuri has another punch up. He gets his buddy Ronnie Simon. That's 6 up and 6 down for Yuri Perez.
Esta transmisión de los Marlins está disponible en español.
No score in the bottom of the second on Marlins.tv, which is powered by Major League Baseball. Got an infield hit for Otto Lopez against Paul Skeens in the first, but aside from that, absolutely nothing. Yuri's gone 6 up and 6 down. And here Jacob Marcy, who's having a season surge right now, very quietly, and I think it's gotten louder in the last bit. But since the calendar flipped to the month of July, this guy's running an on-base percentage at .390.
Yeah, and he's gotten off the highway. And I know hitters, I don't know, maybe some don't pay attention to their batting average, but when you do look up on that scoreboard and you see below the Mendoza line and you're hitting a buck something, you're like, uh-oh, that's not good. You know, he's a really good player. He had a really good year last year when he was up. And now he's starting to put it together, and you can forget about now he's over 200. He's at 206. Now you can try to put together a good couple of months to end the season and try to get your team into that playoff.
There's a gripe with the Mendoza line, like that nickname for it. The Mendoza line obviously is a 200 batting average.
Right.
Mario Mendoza hit 215 in his career, and the great Bob Uecker hit an even 200. So he would always joke, shouldn't it be the Uecker line instead of the Mendoza line?
Always trying to take something.
Well, that missed off the plate. Paul Skeens has had a walk issue as of late. His walk rate heightened this year. He's walked 4 in each of his last 2 starts. And here he issues a leadoff walk to a guy that can create some chaos on the base paths, which is what you're seeking tonight.
Yeah, and you want to try to put some pressure. You're talking about Paul Skeens at 6'6". I was a little surprised that Lopez didn't try to attempt to steal over there as well. And with Marcy, you got to try to push the envelope a little bit, put some pressure on the Pirates defense, put some pressure on Davis, the catcher, and pick some spots where you could possibly see some off-speed pitches. Here's a perfect count right here, 0-1 after a fastball inside. You may see something off-speed here. You want to try to get a good jump.
High volume base stealer, Marcy. That one, a line shot just foul from Javier Sanoja, who is a pesky at bat with a pesky base runner at first.
Well, the one thing, I mean, 19 stolen bases on the year for Marcy, but he's been caught 12 times. And being caught 12 times sometimes will take that confidence away from a base stealer. You don't want to see that happen with Marcy. It's too important. That's a big weapon for him, his speed.
Yeah, you got a guy that can create some chaos here in Javier Sanoja. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud shows you the 32 out-of-zone hits.
So where do you pitch him? Right down the middle.
I guess.
You can't go out of the zone because you'll wind up getting a base hit off you.
Line shot, dug out on one hop by Lau. 4-6-3. That is a double play to eliminate the leadoff walk. And now a message from FPL.
At FPL, our teams are working every day because reliability isn't an option, it's a commitment. FPL, working for you every single day.
Got more thump to see Paul Skeens. Owen Casey, over his last 50 games, sporting an on-base plus slugging percentage and OPS right around 840.
I think you're going to see Paul Skeens. The Marlins are really coming out aggressive, and you should. When you have somebody that throws with that kind of velocity, upper 90s, you want to be ready for the first couple pitches, and hopefully you get a fastball to hit. And you may see that second time around the lineup, or even now, some off-speed early, maybe pitch backwards a little bit.
Now, you've told me best pitch in baseball is strike one. There's no doubt about that.
Try to get the hitter on their heels, on the defense right away.
Casey cracks one to right. Long run for Valdez, but he glides to it to make the grab. Pitcher's duel, living up to it early. Well, no score, top three between the Marlins and the Pirates. Our score is presented by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Let's go to Kelly Sacco.
Hey guys, 6 up, 6 down for Eury Perez, who takes his mound now for the third inning of work. As we can see from our Toyota trend, every time he takes the mound, he's setting new career highs. Well, last time he took the mound in Atlanta, it was a bit of a mixed bag. He tied his season high of 9 strikeouts, but also gave up 4 earned runs for the 5th time this season. Daniel Mosquez told me that it was the first time in a while that he faced an offense so good that they can spoil good pitches, and we saw those Braves hitters put the bat on those good pitches, find holes, and stay in the fight. Eury said after the outing that what frustrated him most were the free passes and his lack of controlling the run game. Mosquez said the message to him in this one: buckle down on the bottom of the order, guys. It's given him some trouble his last few starts. Nelly, what are you seeing here early?
I just saw the base hit right there, Kelly. First pitch that he sees. But you're right. You know, with good hitting teams, and the Pirates are a good hitting team. If you look at their overall numbers, I know they've struggled coming out of the All-Star break, but they're in the top 10 in a lot of categories. You look at OPS, you look at stolen bases, the runs scored you mentioned earlier is third, home runs they're 10th. So they're a very dangerous offense. You can't take a breather, and sometimes as a pitcher you get those first 2 outs and all of a sudden you take that deep breath, and that third out's the toughest one.
Now, first pitch to Jacob Gonzalez, missed just off the inside edge. Now, I guess the silver lining for the Marlins right now is they're a really good offense that's pretty banged up at the moment.
Right.
O'Neal Cruz is working his way back from a couple of hand fractures. It was a freak injury, and then Connor Griffin has a torn ligament in his middle finger or ring finger, and then Ryan O'Hearn, he's on the shelf with a quad strain.
Yeah, O'Hearn probably will miss the rest of the year.
Yeah, they think optimistically mid to late September at the earliest. So if they are in wild card contention, O'Hearn could join them, but that was a marquee free agent signing. Just want to circle back to Yuri's last start in Atlanta, because that was not only a talented offense, but a really veteran offense with the Atlanta Braves. And of the 10 hits that Atlanta collected in that one, the overwhelming majority were the other way. They were staying back on 98, 99. And that's what happens when you got a guy like Matt Olson who's pushing 30 years old, and Acuna who's been a superstar and as an MVP, and guys like Austin Riley in this sort.
Yeah, if you're going to pitch the ball, if you're going to throw the ball in the outside corner, they're not going to try to pull you. They're going to take it the other way, and the Braves did an outstanding job. And, Yuri was able to get ahead of guys and get the first couple outs. I mean, that outing, out of the 4 runs, 3 of them were with 2 outs. Yep. So it's just about finishing off hitters, and you're talking about grinding, especially this time of the year. This is the dog days. I mean, Kelly mentioned, every single inning, every single start is going to be a career high for Yuri. So you just have to keep grinding through. You can't take a breather. Take a breather when your night's off.
To Gonzalez, bouncer to second. X has got that. 4-6-3 on the double play. Just like Skeens last half inning, Yuri eliminates the leadoff base runner. That's a double play presented by Doral Kia, X, Otto, Conine. X and Otto, they are the consistent pieces of that punch.
Now, nice job. A slider down, and Gonzalez really an easy double play. A 4-6-3. Nice job by Edwards there. The big X over to Lopez. And then Conine with the stretch.
Well, Henry Davis squares to bunt. It's a beauty. Tough play for Sanoha, and he cannot get it there in time. It's kind of last resort offensively for Henry Davis, hitting a .174 in his 77th game, but he bunts his way aboard, and that's a 2-out base runner against Paris.
There you see Sanoha playing a deep third base. You're not expecting the catcher to bunt. The only way you might have a better shot is you come in and barehand this ball. It's a really good bunt, and that's it. You field it with your glove, and that transfer just takes a little bit more time. It's really close. If you barehand that, I think you probably get him if you come up with it cleanly.
And Avi gave it all he could. A couple of solid defensive third base options here in Sanoha and Pauly after the recall. Graham Pauly, the corresponding move for Stowers, who again hit the shelf with a hamstring issue. Now Mangum rolls one right at Otto. He takes him the bag at second, and that ends the inning. Yuri threw 3 clean.
Ben's dealer today.
Well, welcome back. No score in the bottom of the third between the Marlins and the Pirates. Game 1 of a 3-game set. Hey, don't miss a moment this season with Marlins.tv, presented by Warner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Stream the entire season within the Marlins territory. Watch games at home or on the go and stay connected all year long. Subject to national exclusivities. Visit Marlins.tv for details and start streaming today.
You know, here's a question for you, Jack. I mean, you've seen Paul Skeens quite a bit. I got to dissect these pitchers all the time and, you know, go over what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right. You've seen a lot of him. What are some of the differences that you've seen this year? You've already seen him once in Pittsburgh, but you've seen a lot of him in the minor league days.
Well, he starts off Joe Mack with a breaking ball. I mean, you know, honestly, the arsenal is way more filled out than when Skeens was in Indianapolis. And you know, a whole bunch may be a stretch because this guy was a rocket ship through the minor leagues. It was very similar to the Steven Strasburg ascension. Max stings one to second. Lau has got that, no problem. And that's out number 1. You know, Skeens ran a sub-1 ERA in Indianapolis in 2024. You know, Paul Skeens only made a handful of starts there. With Indianapolis, he made 7 starts. But that guy was, okay, he's pumping 101, 102. But the splinker was the new thing. And remember, like when Skeens came up and he was the National League Rookie of the Year in 2024, everybody talked about that splinker and 102. And he was throwing 102 on the 105th pitch of the game. Ruiz demolishes a ball to left. Reynolds looking up and a watch it fly. A beauty of a bomb for Esteury Ruiz. And the Fish are on the board first.
Well, the last time the Marlins faced Paul Skeens, it was in Pittsburgh, and they got him twice. Hernandez and Mack. The only 2 runs that Skeens gave up. But how about Ruiz? First pitch, fastball. Tried to get ahead of him at the top of the zone. You can't go up there against Ruiz and throw a fastball. He's not going to miss it. Home run number 6. 384 feet.
And that right there is the Skeens difference. That was 95 on the way in and 105 on the way out. This guy is wiry strong. You see him and you say, wow, he's a little bit more filled out than you would expect. Esteury Ruiz has some serious thump in that bat. That is another Marlins home run for healthcare presented by Leon Medical Centers. Each Marlins homer this season means a donation to the League Against Cancer, delivering free care in South Florida. 2-0 to Edwards, a little bouncing ball back and foul, but that is the glaring difference. Skeens on average was just throwing harder, to be honest with you. This guy has everything you could ever desire in your first 3 years of being a pitcher full time. Mind you, this guy showed up at the United States Air Force Academy as a catcher and a closer. Ruiz pops it foul. Now, Paul Skeens started pitching full time in 2023 at LSU. His first year being a full-time pitcher, he broke Ben McDonald's SEC strikeout record in a single season. He wins a national championship. He's the number 1 overall pick. Year 2 pitching full-time, he's the National League Rookie of the Year. He starts the All-Star game. Year 3 of pitching full-time, he starts the All-Star game. He's a Cy Young Award winner. But here, you're just seeing Paul Skeens maybe for the first time in his life go through adversity on the pitcher's mound on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and you know, the velocity drop, I mean, you could easily say, oh, that's a little alarming to me. I mean, at 24 years old, he should be able to withstand that velocity. If you're throwing 100, all of a sudden now you're throwing or averaging a little over 96 miles an hour. You looked at the percentiles with the off speed. That is getting hit really hard this year at almost, another 100 and almost 200 points higher than last year. A lot of that could be mechanics.
Well, ABS is powered by T-Mobile, and Henry Davis overturns that one into a punch-out of Xavier Edwards. Now, real quick, back to the Skeens conversation here. His fastball has lost a couple of ticks, and you know everything else is kind of on par with what he does, but opponents are just hitting the ball harder here. But it really stems from that fastball. Turned from the best fastball in baseball to a good fastball.
Yeah, and you know one full season, everybody's going to have reports on you that, you know, the strikeout rate is a little bit, or percentage is a little higher. From his arm angle, he doesn't throw over top. It's a little higher than 3/4. You're going to get a lot of movement on that two-seam fastball. He tends to throw more four-seamers than two-seamers, and I think you're going to start seeing, and that's probably what you've seen. Well, you saw Griffin Conine hit the first pitch. Ruiz hit the first pitch, jumped all over it. You're probably seeing guys around the league jump all over his first pitch fastball.
A bleeder to right as Smerlin Valdez slides into the grab. Now the Marlins strike first. Esteury Ruiz gets the Marlins on the board. A baby out to left field. Well, back at Lone Depot Park, our score is presented by FPL. 1-0 Marlins on Esteury Ruiz's solo shot. His 6th on his season, his 6th as a Marlin. He gives Yuri Perez maybe the only breathing room he needs in what figures to be an ace-off between Skeens and Yuri. Starts Brandon Lau with a heater low. We'll see Lau, Reynolds, and Horwitz. Right now, injuries accounted for. This is the teeth of the Pirate attack that, you know, we've told you has been one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball this season.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with O'Neal Cruz, whether the Marlins see him in the next couple of days. You know, with your best player, the season is coming to an end quickly. You need him desperately, and hey, minor league at-bats, minor league rehabs are one thing, but if you get by one or get through a game, you need to get him back. Let him do his rehab in the big leagues.
Cruz has already played 2 games with AAA Indianapolis. Now, mind you, he's 0 for 5 with 3 punch-outs. I wonder if quick results mean anything to them. Because remember, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when Owen Casey was on rehab, he pumped out 2 homers, and it was no problem. Okay, let's get Owen back to the big leagues. But O'Neal Cruz is working his way back from a couple of breaks in one of his hands. It's a 4th and 5th metacarpal fracture, so you just wonder if they want to see him swing and really connect with a couple and see how that feels. Lau connects, sending Ruiz back. Just shy of the track, he makes the grab for out number 1. Well, today's youth player of the game is Carter. He plays for the Wellington Bulldogs in the USSSA League. He loves collecting baseball cards. He's got over 3,000 cards. Of his big favorite Marlin, Javier Sanoja, and when he grows up, he wants to be like Jeff Nelson.
Yeah, that would be a mistake. But hey, Javier Sanoja is a good one, man. You can play all over the map. I mean, he does. Great asset to a team. Won a Gold Glove last year.
No, he said sports analyst. He didn't say Jeff Nelson.
Oh.
I just want to make that clear.
3,000 baseball. Do you collect baseball cards when you were young?
So, yes, and it was so cool. My mom painted with magnetic paint a baseball field on my wall. And growing up, I had magnets, and I would put up my favorite starting 9 at any given moment on this wall. And I had probably a couple hundred baseball cards, but, you know, I would change out the shortstop, I'd change out the third baseman, the left fielder, all that. There were 2 constants growing up. The only 2 guys that stayed on 6-year-old Jack's wall were Ichiro in right field and Mark Burley on the pitcher's mound.
Really?
Those were the cards I always had up with the magnetic painted field that my mom made for me in my childhood bedroom.
Well, Mark Burley, you know, that game's going to be quick, about less than 2 hours.
Yeah. Mark Burley was trying to speed run baseball. It was, give me the ball, I'm going to go.
Great guy to have on the mound on his day game getaways.
Yeah. Chopper foul from Reynolds. Well, now a message from Doral Kia.
Take advantage of a pricito now on all of your favorite new Kia models. Like a new Kia K5, Sportage, Sorento, Soul, and more.
Yuri Perez, no problem so far. Leadoff knock from Smerlin Valdez in the 3rd. Was wiped away by a double play. 1-2 to Reynolds. This is upstairs at 99. He's got a little extra gas tonight. You wonder, is Yuri thinking about the guy that's on the hill opposite him and maybe getting a couple of ticks from that, or is it opposing lineup that really gets your juices flowing more?
And I don't know how pitchers do this because, you know, we talked about the run support that Yuri's had. 7 runs total for the Marlins offense.
Chopper to Otto. On the run, no problem. Let's check in with Kelly.
Hey guys, speaking of baseball cards, a couple of nights ago we featured a couple kids as our youth players of the games. Their name, Rudy and Jordy. And they mentioned, and we mentioned this on the broadcast, they also enjoyed collecting baseball cards. Well, listening to the broadcast was Ryan Gusto's dad, Mark. On Sunday, he brought some baseball cards for the kiddos today during BP. There you see him, Ryan Gusto. He made sure that those cards were delivered. I was there, guys. The kids' faces lit up. They're not expecting to meet Gusto and to be surprised with all these baseball cards. So just a really cool moment during BP earlier today.
How cool is that, Kelly? And baseball cards are all the rage. Like a guy like Ryan Gusto, who is a Major League Baseball player, can still get very invested into this. And the fact that it extends that young is just outstanding. There was big news on the card front, right? Shohei Ohtani card a couple days ago went for $11 million.
Did it really?
$11 million.
Wow.
I don't know the intricacies. Like there are numbers attached to it. Got to get it graded. It's like collecting art.
Right.
You know, prospects, you can view it as buying stock in a player.
And it just started picking up again. I mean, it had a moment a long time ago. I mean, it was, you know, and then all of a sudden it kind of petered out, and then all of a sudden it's starting to come back.
You know what it was?
Few years.
Everybody was at home during COVID. Right. So 2020 and 21, you start rummaging through your basement. And it's like, is this card from 1981 that valuable? And then it turns out that, you know, hey, this one isn't, but maybe this one is. And I think people were just kind of chasing that adrenaline rush that they had when they were 6 years old. Advantage count for Horwitz. It's a good swing off, but he pops it left side. Sanoja Lopez there, and Javi calling for it. He makes the grab, and Yuri is through 4 scoreless innings. The duel against Skeens.
Way.
Griffin Conine leading off for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 4th. Nearly homered in the 1st, and on Sunday collected his first career multi-home run games, guys. He did so in 2 very different fashions. The first, an exit velo of 115 off the bat as he grounds out up the middle there and reaches.
How about that? A little Super Bowl bounce off his second, Kelly.
Well, guys, as I mentioned, 115 miles per hour off the bat of that first home run. The second one, though, off a pitch thrown 39 miles per hour. It was the second one that he said impressed him the most. It was the second slowest pitch by any pitcher in Major League Baseball this season who homered off a pitch like that. He said it impressed him most because he never really faced pitches going that slow. Conine utilized the toe tap, something he doesn't normally do. He said the approach was to really stay as still as he could until the ball reached him. He compared it to hitting off a tee. And guys, people really don't realize those position player at-bats very, very tough.
You know, he stayed stoic until he got to third base. I think he made eye contact with Blake Lally. He was like, okay, I can laugh about this one. It looks like he was playing 16-inch softball. You ever get involved in any of those?
Yes.
Old timer?
Yeah, and
by the way, how's your arm?
Yeah, it's okay. It was a little sore. I thought I might have to ice it down after Saturday, you know, throwing that inning. But yeah, you have to stay back, and it's got to be tough when somebody's just lobbing it in there, and you have the position players coming in at the end of the game, because as a hitter, you're supposed to hit them. You better hit them out. Mm-hmm. You strike out. You better not. You better walk in the other dugout if you're going to strike out against a position player. You know, we were talking earlier when Yuri about it. You know, thinking, okay, who's pitching on the other side, knowing that he has probably a little bit of a short rope as far as runs being scored. It marvels me how pitchers do it, knowing that, hey, you have two guys on the mound in Skeens and Perez, probably not going to give up a whole lot. Do they think about that, knowing that, hey, I've got to throw up some zeros. One run could be the difference. You look at Yuri, knowing that, hey, I've only had 7 runs of support. My last total over my last 5 starts.
Oh, Henry Davis is challenging the ball call. ABS is powered by T-Mobile. Survey says he overturns the call. And that's a punch out for Skeens of Heriberto Hernandez. Hey, skip the traffic and ride to your next Marlins game with Brightline. Hop on Brightline's home runner train to Miami Central Station and enjoy complimentary round trip shuttle service to and from Lone Depot Park. Learn more at marlins.com/Brightline. Now it's Marcy, drew a leadoff walk in the second before in the first casualty of a double play ball. Now Paul Skeens and Yuri Perez really woke up today, extra pep in their step. Again, knowing that runs will be at a premium, as Nelly points out here. We've got a couple of good pitching matchups as well. An all-star gets the ball for the Pirates on Thursday in Braxton Ashcraft. There's 96 again from Skeens, and we started talking about this. You know, Paul Skeens last year led all qualified starters. He sat 98.1 with his fastball. That was, among qualified starters, the best mark in Major League Baseball. This year, he's 11th. It's hard to drop that much when you're 24 years old, just turned 24.
And that's why, I mean, it could be a red flag in a sense that is everything okay with him? What is he doing differently than he did last year? We were talking before we came back from the break that he's supposed to be doing this intentional, or he said that, hey, my velocity drop is intentional.
He tags one right center. Mangum got a good break, and he makes the grab. Conine scurries back to first.
If that's the case, why? You know, why change something? You won the Cy Young Award last year. Why all of a sudden, hey, I got to drop 4 or 5 miles an hour off my fastball? Because now, if you're seeing the fastball, it's been elevated. He's not spotting it on both sides of the plate. He does throw from a good arm angle as far as trying to get good sink from that 2-seamer, but his 4-seam fastball, that's the pitch that it's going to flatten out a little bit on it, especially when it's up.
The other 2 pitches that jump out, and you wonder if he's trying to pinpoint his heater because these 2 pitches have taken a bit of a downturn. But Sanoha loops one up the gut and through. Conine takes a turn. He'll take off for third, testing Mangum's arm, and he dirts it. And Sanoha, the trail man, heads up, pushes into scoring position right behind Conine. Now pressure on Skeens with 2 men gone. Sanoha with a single, and he pushes to second on the throw.
Well, a little squibber. It was a sweeper. Wasn't hit very hard. It had that backspin, and it had a little corkscrew going up the middle. Wasn't hit hard. And you watch Sanoha. You know, yes, Conine's taking and going first to third, but Sanoha, he said, heck with this. If you're going to try to go to third, I'm taking that extra base. And Mangum out there in center field doesn't have a great arm, and he spikes it, and Sanoha gets into scoring position.
A single would plate 2 in all likelihood, with Sanoha, who can scurry at second base, and Casey going to hit against Skeens. Henry Davis just went out to chat. I was mentioning a couple of pitches have kind of fallen by the wayside for Paul Skeens that may make the fastball location even more important. Last year, Paul Skeens' changeup was outstanding. Opponents hit 103 against his changeup with 2 extra base hits. The 103 clip on the changeup has spiked to 250 this year. And the other one, the true sinker that he throws, opponents slugged under 300 against that last year. They're slugging over 500 against that this year. So his pitches that he relies on the bottom rail have just kind of evaded him. Casey shoots it foul, and Skeens in the driver's seat, 0-2.
And there's a 4-seam fastball right down the middle and elevated. Every 4-seam fastball that Skeens has thrown tonight has been elevated in the zone, and the Marlins haven't missed any. Now, the 2-seam fastball from that arm angle should be a lot better. You should see a lot more sink down and away into righties, away to lefties. And when you're getting underneath it, like I mentioned earlier, could be some mechanical flaws that you're just getting underneath the baseball. You're not staying back. And that might be one of the reasons why that changeup has all of a sudden been elevated as well.
You know, he's 6'6", 260, but he does have pretty funky mechanics. That one in there for a called third strike. Might have been a touch in, but Casey doesn't challenge. Paul Skeens strands 2 in scoring position. A 1-0 Marlins on an Esteury Ruiz solo homer. Now that's it in this matchup of frontline starters. Paul Skeens, newly turned 24-year-old, against Yuri Perez, who doesn't turn 24 for quite a little bit of time. Now, these are 2 of the brighter young starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. Hey, be sure to stay tuned for the 7th inning for the 7th inning stretch presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Yuri Perez, he is trending in a positive direction. We talked about his last 10 starts. Coming into this one, sporting an ERA just over 2 in his last 57 innings. Gonzalez bounces it foul. Meanwhile, Skeens on the downturn. Paul Skeens, his last 15 starts, an ERA over 5. His last 8, an ERA at 6.2.
Yeah, he had over those last 3 that the Pirates have lost, the 8.16 earned run average.
Well, Nick Gonzalez bounced out his first time. The clip sits at 306, which is still one of the top marks in the National League. But everybody looking up at Otto Lopez right now. It's fun to keep one eye on the National League wildcard race, obviously. It's fun to keep the other eye on the batting title because Luis Arraez had 0 for 5, 0 for 6 the other night, so he dropped to 316. Otto came in at 318. And Gonzalez is hanging around. He's a slap the ball around the ballpark guy. He was a marquee pick right after the Marlins took Max Meyer 3rd overall back in 2020. The Pirates took Gonzalez out of New Mexico State at 7th overall. And he's tied up on that sinker bearing in at 98. Good pitch from Uri.
That is unhittable, and he did this against Robert Jr. with the Mets when he started in New York. This nasty 2-seam fastball, look how much that runs, and that's just a protection hack, an emergency swing by a hitter. They think it's coming right down the middle of the plate, and you're talking 98 miles an hour with just nasty ride inside on a righty. You have no shot.
That's Ronnie Simon. He tried slashing a bunt, but he whiffed on a sweeper, and Uri took a good look at him, and Simon flashes a smile back his way. And these two teammates last year when Simon debuted with the Marlins, you can take a peek at Baseball Savant and StatCast and see that opponents are hitting 300 against Uri's sinker, but it's that kind of uncomfortable swing from a righty that it seems like that pitch opens up.
If you can command that inside corner on a right-hander, just dotting a 4-seam outside and then throwing that nasty 2-seamer like I mentioned. He threw a few against the Mets and a couple against Robert Jr. that he just had no shot. It opens up the outside part because he's using his sinker so much, a lot more than the 4-seamer. It's another pitch in a hitter's head that they always have to be aware, because you do not want to hit one off the knuckles if you're a right-handed hitter at 98. So you always have to be aware of that. And then your game plan is to get him away. Well, you'll have a lot more of that plate on the outside half and a lot more success. And also his mechanics. I think his mechanics have been so much better, so much smoother over his last, I would say, handful of starts.
Were you impressed by 20-year-old Uri Perez's mechanics? Because it felt like when he was coming through the minor league ranks, that's what everybody wanted to talk about. He's 6'8". His arms never end. He looks like Kevin Durant throwing a baseball. Yet the mechanics are slow, rhythmic, and near perfect.
When Pablo Lopez came up and also Sandy Alcantara came up, both of them came up at the same time. You're talking two guys at 6'5", and I'm 6'6", so the toughest part for a tall pitcher is to repeat your mechanics. You're constantly working on it every single moment, whether you're playing catch down the sideline, in the bullpen, out on the mound. You're always doing something to try to repeat it. And then you have Uri come along at 6'8", a little taller, and being able to repeat those mechanics. It's really impressive, because that's the toughest thing to do, and to be able to do it within 6, 7 innings and stay consistent, because you're going to wind up losing it on occasion. And it's all those reps and the experience. I mean, Sandy's now at the point where he's played a long time in the big leagues that he's able, okay, if something's going on the mound, you don't need the pitching coach or the catcher to come out. He should be able to figure it out.
Heater sailed on Uri. Ronnie Simon draws himself a walk. First walk issued by Uri Perez. Hey, the Magic returns to Lone Depot Park. Join us on Friday, August 21st at 7:10 p.m. for Harry Potter night as the Marlins face the Nationals. Your ticket package includes an exclusive Harry Potter themed baseball cap with your house colors. Get your tickets now at marlins.com/Harry Potter. Well, Uri at 61 pitches. The 4-seam has been his pitch of choice, but he has mixed in 7 sinkers. First implemented the sinker in mid-May, and it was a work in progress at the beginning, but as he's implemented it more and more, the results of the arsenal as a whole have gotten better and better.
Well, Simon over there first, only 1 stolen base, but his lead, he has almost a sprinter's style, lineup. He's already pointing towards the second base when he leads off, and the Braves did a nice job to try to expose the running game on Uri with that high leg kick being 6'8". Watch how he gets that lead and how he's already leaning towards second base.
So stacked on that right leg. He's not going, and a sinker bears in on Esmeralda Valdez. It's not the starting block. The starting block is swimming, right?
I guess for a sprinter, I guess you have the starting block, right?
Ronnie Simon looks like he's just waiting for the shot and go.
Well, he's got a good lead over there as well. I'm a little surprised that maybe Yuri didn't try to throw over there, just try to keep him a little closer.
Well, he's on the move. And Valdez tags one out to left, but hanging up for Hernandez. Simon had no idea. Hernandez fires a throw back in, well offline. Thankfully, Mack there to back it up. Now, Ronnie Simon made his way to second base and then had no clue where that baseball was, but for his sake, he got back in time. He read it, and Hernandez just missed up the home plate side of first base.
Well, Edwards is out of our screen, but he did a nice job of throwing the deke on Simon there and keeping him at second, thinking that that ball was going to go. There you see Edwards there. Simon did not pick up the ball, and a good throw probably gets him, but that was a Hail Mary. Good job by Joe Mack backing up that play.
Hail Mary that flew over the goalposts.
Exactly.
Take us to halftime.
Where is that?
Well, now Jacob Gonzalez. The Pirates going to get Jacob Gonzalez was a fascinating acquisition. He rolls one to second. X has got that. Yuri's got a cover, and he grabs a shuttle toss from Edwards to end of the inning. Yuri Perez is through 5 scoreless here on Tuesday night.
Naruto.
Hey, experience the Marlins from a private suite. Entertain with next-level luxury and custom in-suite catering while watching the fight and fish. Book today at marlins.com/premium. Honestly, best view in the joint is these premium suites. Couches, chairs, you get your own cushy seats right when you step out as well.
Great food.
Hard to beat it. Joe Mack going to lead things off against Paul Skeens.
Couple lemonades.
You know what term I love is I heard Ben Ingram, the radio voice of the Atlanta Braves, use the term sarsaparilla a couple years ago, and I loved it for soft drink. ABS is powered by T-Mobile. That one missed comfortably low. And Mack overturns it by plenty.
Sarsaparilla, isn't that a combination of like a root beer or something like that?
Yeah. Now they just refer to like a soft drink as a sarsaparilla. Soft drink originally made from the vine, I don't know how to say this, Smilax ornata, similar in flavor to root beer. Yeah, I like that. Lemonade, sarsaparilla, whatever you want. Just missed the bottom rail.
Let's see if Joe Mack gets green light here. 3-0. He might be get a good fastball to hit. Stay aggressive.
Back over his last 50 games, an OPS over 800.
Ooh, that was one too. If you wanted to swing, that might have been the one.
Blowing into a lefty. Why is that a happy zone for lefties?
He's just dropping ahead of the bat. I mean, you really don't have to think a whole lot, and you know, it feels really good, and that's a natural lefty swing.
Natural swing from Mack, but right at Brandon Lau, a worm burner off the turf.
You know, that's a perfect example off of a really good pitcher in Paul Skeens. When he gets you, or you get into a hitter's count against a pitcher like that, and you know that you really need to stay aggressive. And I know some hitters are not real comfortable at hitting 3-0 when they say, "Hey, you got the green light, go ahead and swing away." But against really good pitchers, that might be the best pitch you see in that whole at bat. And that was. You wind up swinging at a pitch that was a little bit further up and in.
That one plunked Esteury Ruiz. It was a sinker that ran high and tight. He's wincing a little bit. The Boo Birds are out here in the bottom of the 5th. Off the high arcing homer, a hit by pitch, and a speed demon Ruiz aboard.
Well, after a first pitch home run in his first at bat in the 3rd inning, this is a pitch up and in. You don't want to go up that high. You know, it's a little suspicious to me. You know, after a homer, you're trying to get him off the plate.
They want him. I don't think they warned him. I think
it wouldn't surprise me, because if you're a home plate umpire and that's Lentz, you know, you wonder, hey, you know, a guy hits a homer off of you and all of a sudden next thing you know you're coming in. Now you kind of hope not, because, you know, if the situation calls for it, you'd like to protect your own guys. But that didn't look right to me.
Ruiz threat to go, obviously, and Edwards bounces bunt attempt foul. Esteury Ruiz is 27 for 30 in the stolen base department.
Well, this is where you make it pay. You know, if you're going to come up and in after I hit a home run, and you got to hand it to Ruiz, did say one thing, you know, shrugged it off, but now you make him pay with your legs. You know, you want to come up and hit, guess what? I'm going to steal second and I'm going to steal third.
Esteury Ruiz, one of 2 guys in baseball this year with 25 or more stolen bases and has been caught 3 or fewer times. The only guy that has stolen as many bags, 25 or more, and caught less than Ruiz, future Hall of Famer Jose Ramirez, 29 for 31 in the stolen base department, the Cleveland third baseman. But Ruiz, not just one of the higher volume base stealers, one of the most efficient base stealers. He takes off on a little bit of a delay, and Davis's throw is plenty late. There's 28 for you, and the Fish have a runner in scoring position.
Well, he did a nice job. It doesn't seem like he had a great read on Skeens' delivery to the plate, but he did a nice job of just bouncing off of first. Watch him how he just bounces off of first, bounces off, and then he takes off. And it not only fools Davis, the catcher, it fools the middle infielders. So you have Gonzalez, the shortstop. He had to get over there late. The throw was up towards the second base line.
Now X shoots one up the gut. Diving stop by Gonzalez. Pops to his feet, and that cannot be dug out by Horwitz. And a run going to come in to score. That one popped into the Pirate dugout. Ruiz will score on the throwing error, and the Fish up 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th.
That's what you get. You hit the wrong guy. So you want to come up and in after a home run, and all of a sudden you drill Ruiz. He'll make you pay with his speed, and that's exactly what he did. Gonzalez makes a really good play up the middle, and he tries to hurry his throw, and Horwitz over at first just couldn't handle it. It was a short hop. And because of the throwing error, Ruiz is going to score. Edwards is going to get into scoring position. Get those tack-on runs. Make that hit batter pay.
The first pitch to Otto Lopez. He's in for a called strike. I mean this in an endearing way. Esteury Ruiz is a game wrecker. You never call a quarterback in football a game wrecker, but you call a defensive lineman an edge rusher that can get to the quarterback at will a game wrecker, because it's someone that changes the scope of a game. Otto pops it up, foul ground. Horwitz has out number 2.
It seems like every time he's in the lineups, something good happens. He dictates some kind of positive outlook, whether it's defensively or offensively. He makes things happen.
And he makes the pitcher's mind work at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he makes the defense's mind work at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Now, Ruiz has almost as many stolen bases of third as anybody in the bigs. And it was his speed that created that second run for the Marlins. Now it's Conine who bounced one right back up the box his first time up, or his last time up, pardon. First time up, he nearly left the ballpark to straightaway center, but Mangum was camped on the edge of the warning track. Well, for Griffin Conine, it's his second start in his major league career at first base. First one came in St. Louis earlier this year, fresh off the injured list. So Griffin has 2, and Pops has 799 starts at first base. Now
So
we've got a
saying
challenge.
he's got a ways.
He's got a little bit of ways. Henry Davis challenge. ABS is powered by T-Mobile, and he misfires. So the Pirates down to 1 remaining.
Yeah, that ball was really outside, and Davis set up on the outside corner. He easily saw where this landed. I'm a little surprised he took that chance.
Over the last couple of years, Henry Davis has turned into pretty much Paul Skeens' personal catcher. A 2-0 changeup from Skeens. Davis respectfully just hasn't hit at the major league level. He's hitting 174 this year. Since his major league debut, he's hitting $179. It's the lowest in baseball by 20 points. Conine tags the ball. Left center field and deep. Reynolds is back at the wall, and he makes the catch. Griff's been flirting with it, but Mangum on the track in center, and here Reynolds reaching over the wall in left. Take 2 long balls away from him. What can you do?
50% off.
Well, it felt like we were promising you an ace-off today. Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Yuri Perez of the Marlins, and this has really lived up to the billing through 5 innings. It's a 2-0 pitch. One of those runs unearned against Skeens. It came in on a throwing error, but Yuri Perez has more than held up his end of the bargain. 5 innings, a 2-hit shutout ball. He's punched out 5, only walked 1 guy.
Yeah, 66 pitches as well. He's done an outstanding job of matching Paul Skeens on the other side, and really doing a lot better than Paul Skeens.
Now Skeens, meanwhile, at 65 pitches through 5. So these two are pacing very similarly. Look like they can throw comfortably into the back third of this ball game. Davis spun his way aboard his first time up, and he pops it back and foul to run the count in Yuri's favor, 0-2.
Davis with a bunt base hit in the 3rd inning. This is a good opportunity. You might be able to expand the zone a little bit.
0-2. This is low and away.
That bunt base hit was only his 2nd of his career.
You figure he will be starting to do more of that, and you wonder what's a guy hitting 179 in his career doing in the lineup close to every day, or at least on a part-time basis, and the answer is he's a really good catcher. Sky high pop-up left side. Sanoha into foul ground right by the coaching box. Look out Tony Beasley. That's out number 1. Hey, let's check in with Kelly.
Hey guys, tonight's Ocean Bank Making Waves minor league reports highlights another new Marlins prospect. This time it's Jace Beck. Beck made a great first impression, tossing 5 scoreless innings with AAA Jacksonville. He held Gwinnett hitless, punched out 5, and didn't allow any free passes. Guys, he really filled up the strike zone in the process. Beck was, of course, acquired in the Braxton Garrett trade. The 26-year-old led the Southern League with 102 strikeouts over 59 2/3 innings pitched with AA. Guys, he relies very heavy on the fastball, really high on this young pitcher.
I'll tell you what, he looks like a big dude.
Yeah.
Good changeup,
6'9".
too. Yeah, a good changeup down and away. 6'9".
I see 231 is the listed weight on Baseball Reference. Are we calling that a short change, or do we think that's accurate?
That might have been high school.
Native of Tuttle, Oklahoma. 2 guys on AAA Jacksonville's roster came back in that Braxton Garrett deal, and Garrett, obviously had a great 2023 season. He was a key cog in that rotation that made its way to the postseason. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that was throwing in the low 90s and only made 2 starts at the major league level and struggled this year. Now, Garrett really turned it on in AAA after he went back down, but the Marlins president of baseball operations, Peter Bendix, turns Braxton Garrett into 2 upper-level minor leaguers in Beck, who, as Kelly pointed out, has had a tremendous season so far this year. He's K'd 121 guys in 80 innings of work. And a bat in Jonathan Long. Yuri with a punch out here in 98 off the plate to Mangum, and there are 2 men gone. But Jonathan Long, 99 games at an 820 OPS with AAA Iowa.
Oh, Peter Bendix did an outstanding job. Here's that 2-seam fastball. You're starting it on the plate, and you're just letting it move away. Great action, and you look at Mangum right there. I mean, his butt was in the Pirate dugout trying to swing at that pitch away. That's how much movement that 2-seamer has.
A power bat and Brandon Lau. Look, a changeup that floated away. Jake Mangum, a guy that moves the ball forward constantly, but he's 0 for 3 with a couple of punch-outs today. Mangum came in through 97 games, hitting a couple ticks over 300. He is a free swinger. He'll go after close to everything, but there are a lot of guys that are gifted in the way that they can go meet pretty much everything as well. And the Marlins have one of those guys in Sanoha.
Right.
And they serve a purpose. Javier Sanoha has been a spark plug, not just defensively, but offensively. I've been so strong in clutch situations. Got action to the Pirate pen, right-hander Yohan Ramirez. This is a retooled bullpen as of a week ago in the MLB trade deadline.
Yeah, they definitely improved their bullpen. I mean, I was looking at the innings pitched, and they're the starters for the Pirates. They're 20th in baseball in innings pitched, the least amount of innings pitched, and their bullpen has really been used 9th in baseball, the 9th most innings. So they need to do something. You know, a lot of games, their starters' ERA has climbed up, but they were losing a lot of games late, and they had to go. They went and got Kirby Yates, Luke Weaver, Lake Bacher. You had Duran, so they've added like 4 or 5 guys, or Duvall rather, Camilo Duvall from the Yankees.
2-2 on Brandon Lau, and they have other guys breaking out. Yohan Ramirez has been throwing the ball exceptionally well. They really love this lefty in their pen that they got from Tampa this offseason, in the same deal as Lau, mind you, Mason Montgomery. Marlins saw Montgomery when they went to Pittsburgh in mid-June. Pitch number 80 from Yuri. Now, Brandon Lau already logged his 5th 20-homer season of his career. He's on the hunt for his 3rd 30-homer season in his career. Sitting on 25. 2-2 again. If Lau reaches, then Brian Reynolds the guy up, and Reynolds is having a resurgent year in his own right. It's his best year since his 2021 season that effectively got him paid. Hit over 300, OPS over 910. Down ballot MVP votes. 3-2. And that's ball 4. Second walk issued by Yuri tonight. Second walk in as many innings.
No, this is where you got to grind through it. You know, you get those 2 outs, everything's going nice and smooth for you throughout the game, and you take that extra breath after that second out, and then that 3rd out is the one you really have got to concentrate on getting. You got to make sure this 2-out walk doesn't hurt you.
Switch hitter Reynolds batting left. Took 98 up and out.
Yuri, 91 pitches in his outing against the Braves, only last 5 innings. 104 has been his high on the year.
That outing last week in Atlanta snapped a stretch of 5 straight quality starts. Yuri Perez has settled in and is breaking out in front of our very eyes. Could Reynolds hold up? No.
Well, trying to be aggressive on that 4-seam fastball. Yeah, he went.
Broke the plane. Reynolds shoots one to left, hanging up for Hernandez. Yuri Perez is through 6 scoreless against a top 5 offense in baseball. Marlins baseball is presented by Dow Kia, home of the Pricito, and by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. New arm, believe it or not. Paul Skeens, a 5-and-dive guide today. 2-0 Marlins in the bottom of the 6th. Then enter the right-hander Yohan Ramirez, who has been outstanding as of late. Last 29 2/3, just 1 earned run against him. Harry Barrett's over the 2-hopper, kind of jumped up on Gonzalez, and he's got no play. Can't call that the turf monster. Might have been the dirt monster.
Yeah, it was a tough play, but that's another play you have to field. I mean, it gets you. It's a breaking ball. Hernandez hit it hard, and it just hopped up on him in the last minute. Just that last hop. It took a little weird bounce. Wound up hitting him in the chest.
And immediately scored a fielding error on Nick Gonzalez. Tough. Obviously fouls it back. Hernandez aboard against Yohan Ramirez. Paul Skeens, we'll give you the line on him real quick. He went 5 innings of 2-run ball, just 1 earned.
65 pitches.
Now, here's the notable thing about those 65 pitches. Paul Skeens on his four-seam fastball set 95.7 miles an hour. Marcy with a pop-up, third base side. Dirt monster can't get Gonzalez here. Skeens last year led all qualified starters. He sat 98.1 with his fastball. There has been articles upon talk show appearances about his velocity diving. He's addressed it after every single start over his last 5 to 10 turns. But yet his season average dropping to 96 on the heater, it's down nearly a tick and a half from where this diluted season average is. So you start to wonder when you see him sitting 95.7, a guy that was pumping 102 last year, if there is something really to monitor now.
Yeah, you hope not, for the Pirates' sake and also Skeen's sake. You know, you're talking 65 pitches. He's your ace, and he's only given up 2 runs, and one of them earned. You got to get more length out of him, and you know, I guess we just wait and see if we hear anything that went on or what went wrong and why he did come out of the ball game. Pitch comm issue.
Meanwhile, the Pirates can turn it over to that rebuilt bullpen that Nelly was mentioning. The additions of notably Blake Bacher from the Marlins, Camilo Doval from the Yankees, big ticket Luke Weaver from the Pirates, and then Kirby Yates from the Angels. But a couple of mainstays. Ramirez, again, been really strong as of late in his last 30 appearances. This is appearance number 49 at a 2.8 ERA for him. He's K'd 74 guys in 64 innings of work.
Yeah, only 46 hits, so a lot of swing and miss. Now he does walk guys. He has 37 walks in those 64 and a third.
Sanoha takes up on a sinker at 94.
It's a fastball, sweeper, curveball. His fastball is about 96 to 97, so he can bring it out of that bullpen.
Pirates general manager Ben Cherington went reliever shopping at the deadline, and a lot of it done on deadline day. Sanoha with an uncomfortable swing on a sweeper. Pirates beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee 4-3 on deadline night. Now, you play a Monday night game when the trade deadline's at 6 Eastern. You're not going to have those 4 guys. They did have Doval available, but that was it. Since the deadline, they're 1-5, and their only win, they beat the Mets 9-0. So they haven't even had a save opportunity to throw Weaver into.
And now with the pitch, the amount of pitches guys throw, you don't see pitchers to go deep in the ball game. You're seeing it more and more once you get into the playoffs, that the starter has a really short leash. You know, even your ace, you might see 5 innings, and then you're going right to that bullpen. The bullpens have become even more important now than any time in baseball.
2-1. Tapper foul. And a clip topping in the front foot. Sanoha so far today bounced into a double play, also singled up the middle. Mullins hitting $199 to Nelly's point against Yohan Ramirez this year. Got a couple of lefties that they can deploy as well in that bullpen. Now Montgomery, the main lefty piece in that pen. Also paid Gregory Soto this offseason. Count runs full.
Well, let's see if Hernandez gets a jump over there. 3-2 count. I want to try to stay out of the double play. Sanoha's tough to double up anyway. Ramirez does have a high leg kick, and he does throw a lot of off speed, especially that sweeper. You can see how much break that has down and away, and it really gives Davis a fit behind the plate.
He goes. At a called third strike. Throw to second in time. Strike him out, throw him out for Yohan Ramirez and Henry Davis behind the dish. Clayton McCullough will not challenge. Again, pitcher's duel. Stays put, 2-0. Hey, Marlins fans, join us for our Dominican Heritage Celebration presented by DR Tourism and Aerojet on Saturday, August 22nd at 4:10 p.m. Catch the Fightin' Fish take on the Nationals and take home an exclusive jersey with your ticket package. Get your tickets at marlins.com/DR. The 23-year-old Dominican-born right-hander Yuri Perez threw 6 scoreless Kickstarting the 7th at 85 pitches against the middle of the Pirate attack. It'll be Horwitz, Gonzalez, and Ronnie Simon.
He's been outstanding. Look at that. The numbers have been outstanding. Only 2 walks in 6 innings, and that's what he's cut down also are the walks. You know, you keep away the free passes, make them hit their way on. Lots of strikes, like I mentioned many a times about his mechanics. Nice and smooth. He's not getting away. This is where you start grinding it. Looks like the Marlins might get some action up in their bullpen just in case someone gets on. Looks like maybe Michael Peterson down there in the Marlins bullpen.
They kind of stacked their leverage arms coming off the off day yesterday. Off day in Miami. These guys can all kick their feet up.
That you don't get that too often.
I think there's one more left on the schedule.
At home?
At home in terms of home series off. Another home series where you don't have to worry about travel in any form or fashion. You got to think a lot of these guys made it a beach day. Two-one. Directed foul. That was 99. And more gas getting ready to confirm Michael Peterson in the pen.
This is where you throw that 2-seam fastball if you want. It wasn't even on that 4-seamer away. You get something that has that actually start in the middle of the plate and move it off.
Just missed, but Mac. He wants a punch out for Yuri Perez.
Yeah, he might get it too. This might be a good challenge.
ABS is powered by T-Mobile. Challenge system says punch out for Yuri.
Ball's overturned. Hitter is out.
That's an incredible challenge right there, especially where Max set up to reach back and go up. Watch where he sets up. He's up on the outer half and he reaches back. A lot of times the umpires, you see the umpires won't give it to you, and he's set up on the inside. So home plate umpire Lentz, Nick Lentz, sees it perfectly. That's an outstanding challenge.
Mac loves it. Clayton loves it. And Gonzalez takes 99 inside. Yuri is throwing like he's emptying the tank here, and he knows that the 7th is his last one.
Well, you talk about grinding outs. It looks like he's grinding through the 7th inning. He still has the velocity. He's carried that 98, 99 throughout the game.
It's been the coolest part of Yuri Perez over the last 10 to 15 starts is you see the 20 pounds that he added this offseason. You see the intent continue to show itself on the radar gun in the 6th inning, in the 7th inning. Alert is short. No problem for Lopez. And now a message from WHG Law.
Winning doesn't just happen by accident. At WHG, we know every case is earned before you ever step inside the courtroom. WHG, preparation wins.
Well, Jeff Nelson mentioned that Yuri Perez has really kept the ball in the strike zone over his great turn, his upturn, the ascension, his last 10 starts, an ERA in the low 2s coming into this one. That is dropping with 6 2/3 scoreless. Not only is he not walking as many guys, but he's also keeping the ball in the ballpark. We're working on 48 consecutive innings without someone taking a 4-seam dominant guy in Yuri Perez deep.
Well, I think you just said that key word, the 4-seam fastball. He's starting to mix in that 2-seam fastball. There's the 2-seam fastball right there. Simon pulling Simon pulling way off of that pitch because of the movement going down and away. It's going to be hard to square up that 2-seam fastball at 98 miles an hour if you're a left-handed hitter.
Paints 99. Simon may be burning the last Pirate challenge.
Yeah, I don't get this one right here. For hitters, a lot of it is just an emotional challenge. When you're frustrated at the plate, and that caught a lot of that inside corner.
Pittsburgh has no challenges remaining.
And now you go the rest of the way, and you're done. And you got a 2-0 game.
And meanwhile, the Marlins have both theirs remaining. Yuri Perez trying to muscle up and get through 7 scoreless. 1-2. 100.
Well, you talk about good weight gain and bad weight gain, and him just adding a few, 10, 15, whatever it was, it definitely needed it. I mean, he's 6'8", skinny guy anyway, and that weight gain, that strength that he has put on, gets him through this.
Fouled away. Yuri Perez has thrown his 2 hardest pitches of the night on pitch 97 and 98.
Well, so far tonight, everything has just been effortless. I know he's walked 2, but other than that, it's just everything in the zone, controlling all of his pitches.
Simon sticking around. Ronnie Simon has punched out and walked. 4-seam dominant for Yuri Perez again tonight, but that sinker right around 15%, which is where it's been. He came in with the sinker. Now right at 16%. This is on par with what he's done over the course of the whole season.
How about a slider right here?
On number 100. Chopper and a fair ball. Tough luck bouncer down the left field line. Simon taking off for second. Burt's throw and the tag from X. Don't get greedy. Heriberto Hernandez helps out Yuri, and he gets through 7 scoreless.
Yuri loves it. Little chopper down the line. Outstanding hustle by Hernandez. Good throw right here. How about the tag from X? What are you doing, Simon?
And now we head to the stretch presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Welcome to the stretch presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Well, certainly all of the pitching attention lately going to Marlins ace Sandy Alcantara, but it sure does appear that the Marlins have at least 2 aces currently in their rotation right now, as Yuri Perez has absolutely outdued Paul Skeens tonight. As you just saw, Yuri has completed 7 shutout innings. He's been one of baseball's best pitchers for about a month and a half, but would you believe he hasn't recorded a win since that near-perfect game in Sacramento back on July the 5th. If the Marlins can hold the Pirates for 6 more outs, that would get him his win tonight, as Yuri Perez will exit this one coming up next inning. We'll be back with Marlins baseball after a quick word from our friends. Hey, there's Yuri Perez and Celsius.
Well, Yohan Ramirez still cooking for the Pirates. He starts his second inning. 2-0 Marlins over the visiting Buccos. Yuri Perez has been the star of the show. Paul Skeens, his start cut short, it seems. 5 innings, 65 pitches for him.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to hear anything about, 65 pitches on your ace and you're taking him out. He was getting hit hard. I mean, the Marlins are squaring up some balls on him, but
you have to think Pirate manager Don Kelly or Skeens, maybe both of them, is going to address that post game. Again, Skeens sat 95.7 today after coming in sitting 96.9 with his 4-seam fastball. 7, 8, and 9. Casey Mac Ruiz due up against Yohan Ramirez. Did some quick work in the home 6th.
Simon, I mean, outstanding play by Hernandez there in left with the hustle and the good throw to second. I was watching the turn from Simon. Simon took a huge turn around first and in deep second when he came in and tried to stretch that single into a double.
Does that decision to try and stretch it into 2 make much sense to you in that situation?
No, you're down 2. What are you doing there? I mean, you need base runners, and especially with 2 outs, and Yuri is cruising, and you just help him out.
Now Casey went around on a check swing, and now it's Mack who's bounced out to second twice. Now Ronnie Simon got a little overzealous in his return to Lone Depot Park. He was handshakes and hugs galore earlier today, including with Yuri Perez, but Yuri was just dominant against an injury-riddled Pirate lineup. You had no Cruz, no O'Hearn, and no Connor Griffin, but you still got to get him out. Yuri got to 100 pitches for the 4th time in his career and the 3rd time this year. Well, we heard at the beginning of the year, Clayton McCullough, Daniel Moskis, they were all saying the training wheels are off for Yuri Perez. It's time for him to really blossom into the star frontline arm that they know he can be. And even after a rough first 10 starts this year, I think that box is being checked in real time.
He's becoming a pitcher that opposing teams look and say, okay, who are we facing in this series? And they hope they don't see his name.
That sweeper from Johan Ramirez. That's 3 straight punch outs for him going back to last inning.
I mean, Yuri was hitting 99 and 100 miles an hour in the 7th inning. Incredible. This is a nasty sweeper by Ramirez. You talked about the year he's having. Nice tight break. There's Casey swinging underneath.
And how cool is it the Marlins at full health have 3 of those guys? You don't want to see Yuri. You don't want to see Sandy. And when he's healthy, you don't want to see Max Meyer.
Right. And it makes for good bullpens too, because if you're eliminating outs from your bullpen and you're going deep into the ballgame, whether it's 6, 7, maybe you get an occasional 8 innings out of a starter, you only have to cover 6 at most out of that bullpen.
It's always been the Sandy conversation, and those two attached at the hip since Yuri made his major league debut. Yuri wants to add that to his resume as well. When I throw, the bullpen gets a short day of work.
And they have them split up right now. You have Gusto going in between, but I'm sure at some point, it's probably not going to be this year, but next year you're going to have these guys at a 1-2 punch with Meyer. I mean, that you're talking about maybe one of baseball's best 1-2 punches in Sandy and Yuri.
And the All-Star is the other one you're not naming. To Ruiz. Good pitch, better take. Kelly Sacco is a little bit more on Yuri Perez. Let's check in.
Hey guys, that's right. I just talked to Daniel Moskis. I asked him how did he see Woody work through those 7 scoreless innings, and he said the first time through they focus heavy on the 4-seam fastball. Second time through introduced the sinkers. Third time through an equal mix. He loved the way that he utilized all his pitches and threw strikes the entire way through, guys. Just a whole arsenal in play for Woody Perez. Just makes him even more dangerous. He loved his in-game adjustments and more than anything controlled his emotions the entire time through.
Kelly, thank you. And Nelly, that's kind of the old school way to go about it, where you show 2 weapons and then you show 3 and then you show the whole bag of tricks. That was 97 painted on the lower outside edge. Johan Ramirez strikes out the side in order. Well, we go to the 8th. 2-0 Fish.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 20.
Oh, welcome back to Lone Depot Park. 2-0 Marlins over the Pirates as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Jack Mullen, Jeff Nelson, Kelly Sacco here with you. Nelly, this is the kind of ball game that the Marlins, it seems like they butter their bread in, where Yuri was just outstanding today, 7 scoreless, and now they can turn it over to the leverage arms.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes a good bullpen, because if you have starting pitching that's going 7 plus. I mean, you're eliminating a lot of outs, especially not from your high leverage guys when you have to bring in guys in the 6th and the 7th. But now you go right to your high leverage guys and Michael Peterson, outstanding ERA. Another high velocity guy with a good breaking ball, and then hand it over to Fairbanks. But you're coming off a series against the Angels that you win 2 out of 3, worst record in baseball, so that's a must. I mean, if you don't, it's hard to sweep teams, but you win 2 out of 3. And then you come in against the Pirates team. We talked about, hey, this is a chance for you to push them back a little further. You stay in the hunt. You continue. You watch the scoreboard. And you see, okay, any teams that you play, because you're going to see a lot of teams going forward that are right there in the wild card and even in front of you. So you can control your own destiny. This series, you can control your own destiny, move those Pirates back further.
It's kind of the beast of the remaining schedule for the Marlins. They see a whole bunch of teams that could be October bound. As Smerlin Valdez tags one to right center, but Ruiz with a great break. Well, as it stands at this very moment, the Marlins and the Pirates firmly in the wild card race. The Pirates on their skid, those 6 back at the final wild card spot. The Marlins 3.5 back. Arizona, Philly, San Diego. That is a tight clumping right now, and those division leaders seem like they are all kind of finding their stride.
Yeah, with Washington, no James Wood, so that hurts in that lineup. And you look at St. Louis Cardinals, really surprising. Everyone with their record, you just have to look at the Padres. I mean, the Padres are a team that I thought they were underachieving anyway, and they're in that wild card hunt, only a game back from the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, who are tied right now with their record.
Jacob Gonzalez fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
You can see the Cubs 6 games. I mean, you have them at Lone Depot, and then you're going to go to San Diego. That last road, I mean, you look at the last, I think, 15 or 18 games of the Marlins schedule. I mean, it's against all playoff teams.
Yeah. You got 6 against the Cubs, like you mentioned, over the course of a week and a half, effectively. Now, the Cubs, part of that last road trip. You got the Dodgers coming to town. It's a heck of a home slate for the Marlins here at Lone Depot Park in September. You got the Mets coming in. You got the Braves coming in along with the Cubs and the Dodgers. Gonzalez is just sticking around. Now, Michael Peterson is the guy that has turned into the fireman in this Marlin bullpen. 99 with elite ride at the top of the zone. It is a flick the glove forward fastball. Have you seen many fastballs in Marlins bullpens like this in recent years?
No, and his windup, and if you look how he really shows the ball to the hitter.
It's in the left center. It's a 1-out knock for Jacob Gonzalez.
I mean, the way he delivers the ball, that glove flips up, so that bottom of the glove, the heel of the glove flips up while his hand is still in the glove. And it's such a small amount of time for a hitter to look at that and say, oh, what pitch is coming. But he's done a great job out of that bullpen.
He's found that consistent extra tick over his last couple of turns. I mean, he was sitting about 100 miles an hour a few outings ago. His first pitch to Henry Davis is fouled back.
58 strikeouts and 48 2/3. Opponents are hitting $175 off of him.
There's always a breakout arm. Last year was Ronnie Enriquez in 2025. Michael Peterson this go around. Now, those two different stories, but similar in the fact that they were designated for assignment and they were effectively waiver claims by Peter Bendix to get them to Miami. Now, Peterson bounced around quite a bit.
Peter Bendix has done an outstanding job. And you're talking the waiver wire, acquiring guys, trying to replenish the minor league system of the Marlins, getting some quality down there because the big leagues always need it. I mean, there's always going to be that conveyor belt up and down, up and down. You're going to see it. And he did a nice job at the trade deadline acquiring some great players from other teams.
Big question here is, did Davis offer on a check swing? And first base umpire tonight, Hunter Wendelstedt, says no. Henry Davis bunted his way aboard, also popped out to third.
Ooh, I think he went. I mean, there's a guy that's a double play candidate to keep the ball down, maybe a slider down and away.
1-2. Did he go that time? 2-2. Close again.
Again, you know, the old saying, if he made contact, it'd be a homer.
Henry Davis, the former #1 overall pick out of the University of Louisville back in 2021. Ready for the 2-2. Way late. Check that. He was not ready for 100 on the top rail. It's a punch out for out number 2. Hey, Marlins fans, join us for pregame Sunday brunch on Sunday, August 23rd at 1:40 p.m. Presented by Free AF. Special package includes a game ticket, 2-course brunch, 2 hours of bottomless mimosas, plus unlimited soft drinks, coffee, and cafecito. Get your tickets now at marlins.com/brunch. First pitch to Jake Mangum. It's an ugly swing on a great changeup.
Yeah, first pitch changeup. You don't see a lot of first pitch changeups from Michael Peterson. Mangum trying to cheat on a first pitch fastball.
Got another slider. Changeup, slider, low, and Big Mike in the driver's seat.
Well, let's see if he can spike. It looks like he's spike another one. Looks like he's having a hard time picking up the off speed. I mean, you can easily change the eye level if you wanted fastball upstairs. But I wouldn't want to miss upstairs and get one down over the plate. Let's see if you bounce one. Trust Joe Mack to keep it in front of him.
That one cut on and missed. All 3 at the shoe tops, and Mangum expands. Michael Peterson with a scoreless 8th. Fish keep holding on to this 2-0 lead. Well, Marlins baseball is presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. And by Hard Rock Bet, official bet partner of the Miami Marlins. First pitch to Xavier Edwards, misses up and away. Yohan Ramirez trying to get down a 3rd inning of work.
Yeah, 2 innings of shutout baseball. No walks, 4 punch-outs.
Last time out against the Mets came on Friday. Next with a hot shot foul, first base side. Last time out for Yohan Ramirez on August 7th against the Mets. 3 1/3 scoreless. He K'd 4. So they are expanding his role. And it's, I guess, kind of similar to the Marlin conversation at the beginning of the year when Tyler Phillips was the deficit reliever and he was eating 3 scoreless, 4 innings of 1-run ball. I'm saying this guy might be able to start. That's a right back to Ramirez, who takes it to the bag himself. So action in the Marlin pen. They went to Michael Peterson for a clean 8th, and now they get the closer ready.
Well, guys like Phillips and guys like Ramirez out of the bullpen, when Phillips was throwing out of the bullpen, they're a Swiss Army knife. I mean, you can use them in so many ways, and it really helps your high leverage guys. If they need a night off, you know you're going to have quality. Go out there, throw up some zeros.
Otto Lopez 1 for 3 today. Good sweeper from Ramirez. Now, he is a guy that will go to his sinker often, and Otto a guy that has punished fastballs. Hitting .318 on the year, but hitting .360 against fastballs. Hitting the air left center. Mangum is drifting over. He's got plenty of room. It's out number 2. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Well, now it's a guy that is maybe 3 feet shy of a 2-homer day against Paul Skeens today. First pitch to Griffin Conine, missed up and away. Conine's fly out to center in the first inning went 400 feet, left his bat at 105 miles an hour. He literally had a home run pulled away over that short wall in left by the Pirate left fielder Brian Reynolds. That was 103 the other way and 376 feet. So again, we're talking about, 3-4 feet at most separating Conine from A 1-for-3 day and a 2-homer day. ABS is powered by T-Mobile, and Conine is successful with that.
Ball's overturned.
And all you can do is just laugh about it, because what are you going to do? Somebody going to slap you, but hey, you hit the ball hard. I just got robbed twice. I could have had 2 homers again.
That's why we hate this game, right?
Exactly.
Plays like this.
This was in the 5th inning, and they're about 2 feet over the wall, and Reynolds brings it back.
Advantage count for Conine, 3-0. Brian Reynolds, a guy that has not graded out by the advanced metrics as being a sterling corner outfield defender, but I guess when you get to the spot and have a decent read on it, pull a homer back.
What do they say? Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Brian Reynolds is able to make a catch every now and then.
Interesting that they still have him play left at PNC Park. He's played a little bit of right field, but right in that Clemente wall, that short wall,
right,
way easier to navigate than that super deep alleyway in left center. It's an interesting ballpark, man. Is it near the top of your list of road ballparks?
I think it's beautiful. A couple of years ago was the first time that I've been to it. You know, just an outlook of the city. You know, Pittsburgh in the back. You see the Roberto Clemente Bridge. It's a beautiful ballpark. Now you're up in the clouds when you're doing the game, but
it's always a problem when you see the birds underneath.
Yeah,
right.
And you can see the people on the flights go by.
It's like Zoolander. What is this? A school for ants?
Yeah, exactly.
(3-2). That's ball 4. Second base runner against Johan Ramirez, who's trying to get through 3 scoreless. Heriberto Hernandez 0 for 3 today. One guy to reach against Ramirez, who was on fielding error by Nick Gonzalez.
Looks like we're going to get a pinch runner. Is that Graham Pauley?
How about that?
It is.
Welcome back to the Bigs. Blue Devil for Blue Devil. Graham Pauley, not necessarily a burner by any stretch, but will come on in to play first base late. Pauley more comfortable at first than Conine is, so it feels like this is more a defensive change prematurely than anything.
Now Pauley will have to go over and play first. A little surprised. Are you really gaining a whole lot of speed?
I guess we'll find out.
Hey, if you're going to pinch run, you might as well steal a base.
Why not? He's one of those guys that goes with like the lumberjack approach. No gear, no nothing, no compression sleeve or tape. The way baseball was intended to be played, right?
Does he hit? Now you got me thinking. Does he hit with batting gloves?
Yeah, he does. Okay. He does. We don't have a true lumberjack on this team.
Do we? You don't see that too often either with guys that just go, bare hands, bare knuckle.
They're a rare breed, man. Henry Davis used to be one of those guys, the Pirate catcher. I think he put batting gloves on, but very, very few. Who else? Austin Hayes does that currently.
Played with Jorge Posada. That he never ever used. But he used a batting glove when he caught, but never when he hit.
Now, would he literally grab some dirt and rub it into his hands?
Yeah, and he had like some bear mitts, bear claws in his hands.
Did you see Posada this weekend?
I did. Still looks good. Still looks like he play. I actually threw to him.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I think he was getting mad because I threw a couple balls. I'm like, wait a minute. And he's like, I don't want to squat any longer.
What hurt more, the process of pitching or the comebacker that you had to spear?
Oh, that was easy. It's a fact that I didn't.
You didn't pop an oblique or anything?
I didn't have an oblique back then. I still don't think I have an oblique.
I think you have one. It's like R.A. Dickey without the UCL, right? He just doesn't have that ligament in his arm.
Yeah. I mean, you're in sneakers, so you just have to make sure you don't stride too long and look like you're skating down the mountain.
Well, this bottom of the 8th extends. Jacob Marcy would hit against Ramirez. He's about to throw his 40th pitch out of the pen. Marlins entered play today, game over 500 at 60 and 59. The Pirates 4 under at 58 and 62. And it's a punch out for Yohan Ramirez. He fires 3 scoreless out of the Pirate pen. Fish try to lock it down with Fairbanks when we come back. Well, the Marlins looking at eyeball in a series opening win, and they turn to the closer to do it, Pete Fairbanks, who has been on a heater as of late.
He has. His last 6 outings have been scoreless. He's mixed in 4 saves in those last 6 outings, bringing his ERA down.
Now, you had some good ones, but what did you think of reliever ERA?
Oh, I think it's huge.
Yeah,
I think it's important. I mean, for a reliever, if he gives it up, you're fighting it for a while, right?
Right.
If you give up 4 or 5 runs early, you'll be fighting that ERA to try to get it down. And it's really, I mean, guys have pride in their numbers, I think, still, and you still want to look up on that scoreboard to see good numbers, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher.
Is it fair to say it's such a small sample where, to your point,
for relievers, for short relievers, high leverage when they're going an inning, you know, it takes a long time to get that earned run average down. You look at Pete Fairbanks, he's 6 scoreless innings, and you're seeing it go down even though it's over 6.
Sees Brandon Lau to kickstart the 9th, and that is a nasty slider, and it's 1-2. The Marlins fully believe Fairbanks' stuff never really went away. And he's got 99 on the top rail. He's got the cutter, and he's got this diabolical slider.
Yeah, it's a good one, and it really breaks a lot, almost like a 12-6 curveball, and it's a hard one. And with Pete Fairbanks, you got to hand it to him that you got to keep, the struggles behind you, and just say, hey, I know how he pitches and how he throws. He's got good stuff. As long as mechanically he dials it in, he gets the job done. And as a reliever, you got to figure, hey, I'm going to be fighting this ERA, but I got to still help my team win and stay and climb up in the playoff race.
Do you think it's coincidental that Fairbanks' resurgence on ball foul to the new first baseman, Paulie? You think it's coincidence that Fairbanks' resurgence started immediately after that William Contreras walk-off homer in Milwaukee? And he said this is the most difficult time he's really ever had playing baseball, and right on the heels of that, he turns in scoreless outing, hitless outing, hitless outing.
I mean, you look at Daniel Moscas. I mean, they do a nice job down there trying to get them back, and a lot of video, a lot of hard work, and trying to figure out, okay, what's going on out there. And Pete Fairbanks, he doesn't want to struggle out on this mound. It's probably been the toughest year so far for him. Coming over to another team, trying to help them out at the back end of the bullpen, being that 9th inning guy, and not getting the job done every time. And now you got to have to put that behind you, and you have to fire off some scoreless outings, and you have to close out some close ball games.
Power threat in Lau. Reynolds, one of the better all-around bats in baseball, waits on deck. But again, Pete Fairbanks over his last 6 games, 6 innings of work, 1 hit, and 9 punch-outs.
And 4 saves in those 6 outings as well.
3-2 is out number 1. Cutter bottomed out.
Oh, that's nasty right there. 3-2 slider. You're thinking you're getting a fastball. There's no way that Fairbanks wants to put the tying run at the plate, and you get a nasty slider for strike 3.
That's Reynolds sporting an 0-for-3 night. Tags one to left, peeling towards Hernandez, and he's 0-for-4. Pirates down to their final out.
For a closer in close ball games, it's all about getting that first out, and you can breathe just a little bit better. You get that first out, and then you concentrate, and you get a 1-pitch slider, a little fly ball to left, and you go to work here.
Slider up top to Horwitz for strike 1. Spencer Horwitz 0-for-3 on a day that has been dominated by Marlin pitching. Yuri Perez for 7, Peterson for a scoreless 8th, and now Fairbanks hunting a save.
Well, that slider, you can throw that pretty much every single time right now. You can tell Horwitz, here it comes, and you're still not hitting it. know, I don't even know if you go with a fastball anymore. Just 2 straight sliders. See you later.
Back at it tomorrow at 6:40. Marlins hoping to win a series then, but they got to close out game 1. Just missed.
Well, your hope in the Pirates, no challenges. They've been out of challenges for the last 3 innings.
That's sort of first to foul ball. And Tarek Brock unfazed, first base coach for the Pirates. Fairbanks fires. And the count runs full.
That was a backup slider. The way Joe Mack caught that ball looked like a sinker.
Three-two. Tapper to Paulie. No problem for him. And there's game 1. Marlins take the series opener over the visiting Pittsburgh Pirates, 2-0 behind Uri's dominance for 7.
Outstanding job. You just mentioned it, Jack. Uri Perez, 7 shutouts, 7 punch-outs on 100 pitches. Shut down a really good offense from the Pirates. They just could not get anything going. You look at the hits, only 4 hits for the Pirates, only 5 hits for the Marlins, and it was Ruiz in the 3rd inning, number 6. That's all you needed. They did tack on 1 in the 5th. Big series opener win against the Pirates. You push them back a little further in that wild card race.
Always better on a skiing start where you can limit the Pirate offense to no runs. Esteury Ruiz, his night tonight, that solo homer, high arcing homer, the steepest homer he's ever hit. And Esteury Ruiz with home run number 6 on his season.
Yeah, first pitch fastball from Skeens. And he deposited, and the next AB paid for it, and I think this was on purpose. Very first pitch inside, but this is the wrong guy you want to try to hit. You are messing with fire, and with that kind of speed, you put a lot of pressure on other teams' defense. He steals second, and then he's going to score on this error. Nice job, though, by Gonzalez going over there. He just throws it wild. Horowitz couldn't pick it up. And that hit batter, that winds up costing the Pirates. A tack-on run for the Marlins. But it was the home run. That's all the Marlins needed tonight with the pitching from Perez, Peterson, and Fairbanks.
Uri and Esteury, they were the stars of the show, no doubt about it. And the Marlins, again, take game 1 of this 3-game series. 2-0 the final score. Back at it tomorrow with a 6:40 first pitch. And the Marlins, again, they improved to 2 over 500 at 61-59, and the Pirates at 58-63. Esteury Ruiz, also a note from Yali Sharoni of Marlins Communications, the first 9-hole hitter ever with a home run against Paul Skeens. Just awesome stuff from Ruiz, from Perez, and the Marlin pitching crew as a whole tonight.
Well, you figured that you're not going to score a whole lot of runs off of the Pirates ace Paul Skeens. Now, he only lasted 5 with 65 pitches, so you wonder if something went on, but those 2 runs were enough because the Marlins just outpitched the Pirates tonight.
All right, let's go down to Kelly Sacco, standing by with Esteury Ruiz.
Hey guys, Esteury, both runs in this game scored by you. Let's start with the first one, your 6th home run of the season. You ambushed a first pitch fastball from Paul Skeens. What was the plan at the plate? ¿Cuál fue el plan?
Bueno, primeramente me vine preparando desde el early ball. Yo sabía que ellos podían atacarme con ese picheo, esa recta alta y la pude ejecutar.
He was planning for this, guys. He knew that it was a probability that they could attack him with a fastball up, so he was ready for it when he got it. Second at bat, first pitch, they hit you. How did you make him pay with your speed?
Bueno, él estaba tratando de tirarme un single adentro, ya que yo bateo adentro del home plate. No creo que fue a propósito y traté de sacarle provecho con la velocidad y gracias a Dios salieron los resultados.
He said he didn't think he tried to hit him on purpose, tried to go in with his sinker, but once he got on base, made him pay and took advantage of the situation of reaching by using his legs and stealing. Eury Perez, another wonderful performance. What'd you see from him?
Para nadie es un secreto, el mes que tuvo Eury el mes pasado, y él ha venido trabajando bastante y gracias a Dios las cosas se le están dando, un tremendo pitcher y gracias a Dios, como digo, las cosas han venido saliéndole bien.
He said he's just such a great pitcher, but over the last month he's been working really, really hard. You could see, and thanks to God that it worked out for him here tonight. Thanks so much, Esturi.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Esteury Ruiz as well. Marlins get the win over the Pirates, 2-0 the final score. For Kelly Sacco, for Jeff Nelson, and the rest of our outstanding crew, I'm Jack McMullen saying so long from Lone Depot Park. Marlins postgame show will begin next. Again, 2-0. The Marlins get the win in Game 1 of this 3-game set over the Pittsburgh Pirates.